Can you speak into the mic?
This is me speaking into the mic quite passionately because I really fucking love Lord of the Rings.
And this is me speaking into the mic because I love Lord of the Rings. And when I get really excited, I talk really loud like this.
Oh my god, there's that bit with the bit and they all charge and they... Oh, great.
Okay, good. I think the levels are good. Hello and welcome to episode 6 of Podcast Recast, the podcast where we...
recast your favourite movies as if they were being cast today.
That's right.
The rules are very simple. We're not allowed to use any of the original cast.
And this week it is...
The Lord of the Rings. We're not allowed to cast Andy Serkis at all.
Let's get serious here.
Not allowed to cast Andy Serkis because he's the best actor of ever.
You put him in a motion capture suit.
He could play anyone.
It's just not really fair, is it?
He could play.
Oscar season just goes out the window.
From a monkey to Darth Plagueis.
Ooh, controversial.
And we're each allowed a time machine card that we can play to age or bring back from the dead or
make younger.
You
always have trouble with that one, don't you?
Yeah, I
never know how to say that.
We haven't quite got the rules sorted of that with the time machine card, but that's.
It's a general gist of it. It's a time machine card. You can move around time.
Well, first of all, happy Christmas, happy New Year for everyone.
Oh yeah, everybody.
It's Russian Christmas. Is it Russian Christmas today or tomorrow? I think it's everyone in Russia. Well, we're recording this on Friday the 8th, so. Happy Russian Christmas.
Yeah, what he said.
Exactly. Have you seen Star Wars?
Have I seen? Okay, I've only seen it 4 times, and it gets better every single time. Seriously, I love that movie. It's not without its faults. I'll put my hands up and say that, but it's so fun that I'm willing to just completely look past all of them. It's just I don't care.
I really enjoyed it, and I only got to see it last week. And I'm a massive Star Wars fan. I brought some of the merchandise for it. I'm really into it. But I've got a 3-month-old, and you can't really take a 3-month-old to the cinema because they'll probably scream and shout, and they need feeding halfway through. I wanted to go see it with my wife, so I'm embarrassed to say I watched it on a laptop on a
what?
A cam
what?
On a cam copy.
You what?
But that was only so we could pause it if we need to go and change the kid. But even it held up on that. And it was a damn good copy, I'll tell you that much. Apart from there's one moment about halfway through the film, you can hear this bloke come over. It was probably filmed in Wales because he had a very thick Welsh accent. Come over and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I can't do the accent. I'm going to try. "Oh, I'm so sorry to bother you. I don't want to point any fingers, but we've had reports that someone is filming." And you hear this bloke go, "Oh no, I haven't seen anyone." "No worries, enjoy the rest of the film." And walk off. And it's just in the middle of this. Yeah. But so I am at some point. 'Cause the other thing as well, there's no baby parent screenings of Star Wars until next week. So.
Oh really?
Well,
yeah. I mean, they're gonna make all their money in the opening couple of weeks. They're not gonna sacrifice the screening.
They could have done just like one screening in the whole Christmas period where you can go with baby, and there was not a single one that did it. Even our local cinema hasn't done it yet, so that's why I had to watch it like that. Otherwise,
here's me playing a violin for you.
But it was great. It was great.
No, the testament to the quality of the movie. It was amazing, even on a crappy cam. But you obviously Ali, you need to.
Oh, I'm looking.
You need to skive off work one day and just go to the cinema and watch the movie on the big screen.
Have you seen it in 3D?
Yes.
3D good or 3D?
Yeah, you know what? I actually preferred the 2D. I generally always do. I saw it in IMAX, and to be honest, even that was a little disappointing. There was only really one sequence shot in actual 60mm or 70mm rather.
Which sequence was that?
It's the sequence where Finn and Rey are running away from Jakku.
Oh, okay.
That whole chase sequence is in 70mm. But everything else was just kind of 35mm regular stuff. But I have to say, because I watched it in actual 70mm film projection at IMAX, it wasn't a digital fake IMAX, and it was really nice because there wasn't any noise or artifacts on the screen, so it was just really nice film grain, and you didn't have any of these compression artifacts, so it just looked really great. And when I seen a digital screening, I could, in the dark areas, I could see all these kind of horrible nasties in the darks, and kind of pissed me off.
Well, that actually brings us to back on point, because I was going to say Lord of the Rings. I'm surprised it hasn't been re-released in 3D with one of the post conversions.
Yeah, I worry about that though, because I don't know if you've seen the movies lately, but the visual effects don't hold up that well. No. They're starting to show their age, and I wonder if they did that, if they would just have to do an entire kind of repass on all the effects.
What, like George Lucas 97 style?
Actually, you know what? I can't believe I just said that. That's blasphemy. How dare I? But I mean, my point being, I just don't think 3D would do it any justice.
I love good 3D. I've got no problem with it, because I'd say the second best 3D I've ever experienced was Titanic in 3D, and that was a post-convert. Yeah. And I thought the 3D in that was phenomenal.
There's really only James Cameron movies that
basically
work in 3D.
3D is phenomenal if you're James Cameron. If you're not, you get a. Well, the Gravity was pretty good in 3D.
Yeah, definitely. I think, but Gravity for me, for example, is one of those movies it's a spectacle movie. I saw it the one time. I saw it on a massive screen. I saw it in 3D, and I was blown away. But see it anywhere else, and you lose everything that makes Gravity what it was. Anyway, we digress.
We do.
That's significantly.
This week's tangent. 3D.
So. We should go over the characters we're going to recast.
Well, I think because originally Lord of the Rings, they wanted to do it as one movie, didn't they?
No, I think Peter Jackson wanted to do two.
He wanted to do two, and they then said, "Oh no, you can only do it as one." And
then they were like, "Actually, you know what?
Make and then you got to shop it around, and if you can get someone to do it as two movies, then you can take everything and do it away." And then there was that famous bit where they went to New Line and said, "Aren't there 3 books?
We'll make 3 movies."
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So we're going to wing this a bit, because we're not really sure how many parts this is going to be. It could be 1 part, could be 2 parts, could be 3.
You might shop around.
Yeah, we'll shop it around. But I think we'll start with the Fellowship.
We need to start with the Fellowship. And by that we mean the actual Fellowship, not the movie The Fellowship.
We mean Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, Boromir, Gandalf, Merry, Pippin, Frodo and Samwise.
And that's already a pretty hefty chunk.
Yeah.
And then we'll see who we do in the next episode.
Cool. Right, so who do you want to start with?
Aragorn? Let's just go for it. Aragorn, Legolas and Gimli.
Let's go for Aragorn. Right, who do you want to go first?
Okay. You want to go?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay. So my Aragorn is Nikolaj Coster-Waldau, the guy who plays what's his name?
Jamie Lannister.
Jamie Lannister. That's right.
Ah, the Dane.
He is Danish, and isn't Viggo Mortensen have Danish blood?
He's part Danish.
Yeah, he's part Danish. That had nothing to do with it. I was just looking for that rugged adventure man who could pull it off. Maybe a bit more grace. I think he has a bit more of that. He almost looks a bit elvish, and Aragorn's Dunedain. There's almost like this ancestral kind of elvish blood there. So I figured he definitely can play the action hero, the kind of the sword wielding.
He's got a wild look in his eyes as
well. He does.
The thing about
but he's also got that soft kind of the soft eyes, and he's a beautiful man. Aragorn needs to be a beautiful man. His wife is Arwen, the most beautiful of all the elves. Well, no, that's Galadriel, isn't it? Actually, well, to him anyway, she's the most beautiful. Whatever.
Right.
So yeah, I feel like he could do it. I think he's a great actor. He's got the chops.
I had to look up who I put forward, because he's literally just that guy from The Mummy, but he's Oded Fair.
What?
I'm gonna have to show you who he is.
You're gonna have to. I can't remember.
Because
I thought you were gonna tell me Brendan Fraser.
No, not Brendan Fraser.
What? Who is this guy?
I'm just gonna show you this shot of him from The Mummy.
Oh, the guy who plays who were they? The Magi.
The Magi, yeah.
The king of the Magi.
And he's got that slight Middle Eastern twang to him, but I think he could play a damn good Aragorn. I was sort of thinking, I'm not timing him, but I was sort of thinking, because what do you think of it? Mummy Returns came out the summer before Lord of the Rings, and he's got the stunt capabilities, but he's got that look in his eye, like he will be there, like in Helm's Deep, fighting for the kids. Yeah. He's got that slight.
He's already shown that, hasn't he? In the Mummy, you know, when they're fighting those Anubis warriors, and they're all kind of the last stand, and they're about to die.
And we both watched massive fans of the making of, but you watch that, and first Viggo Mortensen's a nut job doing it. He's clearly a member of the stunt team, pretty much. And this guy looks like he wouldn't be pansing around the thing. He would be actually quite gritty and dirty. And he looks sweaty as well. And Aragorn's always a bit clean and unkempt. A lot of people say that when at the end of Return of the King, when he gets crowned and he's all cleaned up, that he looks we're not interested. But when he's all sort of gritty and fighting away, is great.
Yeah, I like it. I like both of them. I think they're two kind of different. Yours is slightly biased to the kind of the rougher, the more ranger type Aragorn. Mine is kind of more the romantic type Aragorn. I don't know. What do you think? Rock, paper, scissors?
No, I think what I'm going to do...
What?
If she answers... I've got a friend of mine who's... Olivia?
Olivia Brittain.
Right, well, this bit will be edited, so just a big clap, so that... Right, because I am torn between this, but if she answers, right...
Can we get the phone call on the thing?
Yeah, right, she's on speakerphone. Right, I think what we should do... I'm going to call Olivia Brittain, who's a casting friend of ours, and she'll make the decision. I haven't actually spoken to her
we should just get her to be the call a friend whenever.
Yeah. I haven't spoken to her for about a year, so I hope first of all she answers. If not, this could be a bit embarrassing. Okay. They might even be.
You're gonna have to explain this to her later on. She's probably looking at the phone, thinking,
"Why is he calling?"
No way.
Oh.
Rejected.
Alright, okay.
Ouch.
We'll try later, but...
Okay, should we hold it for later then?
We'll hold it for later.
Put on hold.
They're both quite good. Right,
okay.
Let's go for Leggy next.
Legolas.
I've got Eddie Redmayne.
That's so funny. He came to mind. He's kind of got fine features.
For Legolas, for you?
Yeah, he came to mind, but then I chose not to, just because... have you looked at him lately?
I was looking at it from the Danish girl.
That's why you picked him, because he makes a beautiful woman. And Legolas is obviously quite feminine features.
He's quite feminine, but quite graceful at the same time.
Yeah,
and I think he can do that. And clearly, he's a hell of an actor.
Yeah. So
he's got those Orlando Bloom shoes to fill.
I just wonder if he's got the action hero chops. This is the only thing. That's why I didn't pick him. I picked Joseph Gordon-Levitt because I think he's got really fine features. He almost looks like an elf in real life. Yeah. You look at his ears, he's got slightly pointed ears. He's got these kind of almond-shaped eyes. He's quite slender. He's got, a slim jawline. And I reckon you put a blonde, long blonde hair on him, he could pull off a really cool Legolas.
You've nailed it there, because I think you've got that there, because I was thinking as well. I think who looks sort of elfish as well, who looks sort of alien.
Yeah, exactly. He's got that.
I'm thinking of him from the Walk, where his face, weirdly in the Walk, his face looks.
I haven't seen him in the Walk. Oh, the Walk. You mean the one where they did the walk, or the tightrope walk?
Yeah, that's the one.
I haven't seen that yet. I've seen the documentary. Yeah. But I think he's a phenomenal actor. He makes really great choices, and I would really like to see him in a kind of action hero role. I would like to see how he fares as a kind of an epic action hero. I think he's got the chops for it. So yeah.
One of my favourite things about so we're gonna go for
You're going for him,
for Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Right, done.
One of my favourite things is though the elf dwarf relationship.
Okay, well, Gimli and Legolas, their duo.
Funny, it is.
I
remember when I was like 18. It sounds really sad when we say it now, but a bunch of us, we watched Lord of the Rings back to back. but we each had to. We each like, right, I'm that character. Okay, I'm that character. I think I ended up the dwarf, but it was generally quite funny and all those bits, and did turn into a bit of a drinking game. It was quite a funny thing. I've always loved that relationship. Yeah.
It is. They're duo. I think it's one of the most touching parts of Lord of the Rings is, you know, these two races that
how about side by side as a friend? That's
oh my god,
that's
yeah,
cheesy, but my god, it
hit me.
Fabulous slice of fromage because it gets you in the heart,
brilliant.
doesn't it?
And that's what when they're at Helm's Deep and they're about to get charged down, isn't it? No, it's at the very end. Return of the King. Yeah. Oh yeah,
that's
brilliant.
Sick. That's it.
Okay, well that brings us then, of course, to Gimli.
Who you've gone for Gimli?
So I've gone for also another character from Game of Thrones. Actually, yeah, it's not without reason. Game of Thrones is obviously a great place to cast from. You're looking at me as though we probably cast the same person. I'm going for Christopher Hivju.
Oh no. Who's he in
Christopher
Game of Thrones?
Hivju. He plays
you got a picture?
The guy Mance Raider's right hand man.
Oh yeah. The Lord of Bones.
Correct.
Oh, I thought you were going for the same person as me.
No, who did you go for?
Well, what is Gimli?
A grumpy old dwarf.
Exactly. What is Peter Dinklage?
Come on.
So, I thought, and that way, because one of the things I like about Lord of the Rings is people survived Helm's Deep because it was gritty and it was real. Fucking put a real dwarf in there.
He physically can't do the role though.
He physically can. He just needs to be a little bit wider to be able to do it. But I can see he's got the back and forth panter. He's quite.
Yeah, I guess with the stunt double they might.
Not even the stunt double thing. I'm not out the window. I think he'd be a great.
But
dwarf.
I don't think he would convincingly be able to do the stunts or like the wielding of a weapon. So the guy he plays in Game of Thrones is Tormund Giantsbane. Christopher Hivju. He's got that wild beard. He's got the ginger hair. He looks psychotic because his character is psychotic.
Is he Scottish?
No, he's Norwegian. And when he wields weapons, you're terrified. He looks uncontrollable and uncontrolled. And I think, actually, personally, I think Gimli in the Peter Jackson movies was a bit downplayed. I think they made him a bit of a comedy kind of dorky character. He never quite was as cool as Legolas. And I, for one, would like to see a Gimli that's badass, like crazy cool, that pulls just as amazing stuff as Legolas. Maybe he's not as agile, but when he doesn't have an agility, he makes it up for it in strength and brutality.
I will disagree with you there. What about that bit in Helm's Deep where he tosses the dwarf, lands on there, and he's wielding his axe around like a madman?
Yeah, he has a few moments like that, but those you almost forget that. You must forget those moments compared to Legolas's Oliphant stunt, or when he's sliding down the stairs on the shield, or
the flick onto the horse as well.
Yeah, I mean, he just gets so many cool little moments, and I feel like Gimli doesn't get enough. So I want to see him played by a character who's can deliver a credible badass Gimli.
What's this guy called?
He's called Christopher Hivju. I believe that's how it's pronounced. It's Hivju.
It's Christopher spelled stupidly.
So, yeah.
He does look like a...
He looks mental. He looks absolutely mental.
Yeah, he does look a little bonkers.
He's a Viking. He's basically pure Viking, and that's what dwarves are.
All right, okay, let's go for him.
Okay.
Let's go. He's got the beard as well. Let's go for him. Right.
Okay.
Right, I like that. Bad luck, Dinklage.
Who did you have next?
I had Boromir, the other human.
Okay, go for it.
I put Chris Hemsworth. And the reason I put Chris Hemsworth was there's one line I always remember Boromir saying. It's not even a famous line, which is when he sort of goes a bit kooky at the end of Fellowship. Spoiler alert.
You haven't seen it by now.
And he sort of says, "You will take the ring to Sauron." And I was like, "Oh, Chris Hemsworth." And he sort of says, "You will take the ring to Sauron." And he sort of says, "You will take the ring to Sauron." And he sort of says, "You will take the ring to Sauron." And he sort of says, "You will take the ring to Sauron." And he sort of says, "You will take the ring to Sauron." And he sort of says, "You will take the ring to Sauron." And he sort of says, "You will take the ring to Sauron." And he sort of says, "You will take the ring to Sauron." And he sort of says, "You will take the ring to Sauron." And he sort of says, "You will take the ring to Sauron." And he sort of says, "You will take the ring to Sauron." And he sort of says, "You will take the ring to Sauron." And he sort of says, "You will take the ring to Sauron." And he sort of says, "You will take the ring to Sauron." And he sort of says, "You will take the ring to Sauron." And he sort of says, "You will take the ring to Sauron." And he sort of says, "You will take the ring to Sauron when I thought of Chris Hemsworth, I just thought of him saying that exact line in that exact moment. I can see Chris Hemsworth being hit by the arrow and the whole impact.
Yeah. I mean, you just got to see him in as Thor. He kind of already has that look. Yeah. And actually, there's something about Boromir that actually I think you've done by choosing Hemsworth that I also wanted to do by choosing Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh, did you go for Benedict Cumberbatch?
I went for Benedict Cumberbatch. I prefer yours, but what I was trying to do with that is I feel Boromir comes from the elite of Gondor. His father's the steward of Gondor, right? I feel like he was a man's man, and he was the one that Sean Bean plays, the Boromir that Sean Bean plays, I think is a little bit more of a common man, and I want to see a Boromir that's slightly more regal, a bit more royal,
aristocratic.
Exactly. A bit more of that, but for that to be not so overtly played, but that to be implied in the way perhaps he looks or the way he holds himself. And I think Benedict Cumberbatch has that about him. He's a very tall, straight man. He has quite strong and fine features. And Chris Hemsworth almost looks like royalty. He's got the golden hair and he looks strong. He's a Hemsworth. You believe him as you could believe him as a form of royalty almost. He just looks like that. But I think your Hemsworth is. He's definitely an action hero, right? I mean,
you got to have a Hemsworth.
Boromir, and I would like to see Boromir pull off some more cool stuff before he dies.
I think Boromir is one of those characters. The more I watch it, the more I like Boromir.
Yeah.
I feel for him. That's the thing.
And if he had some epic stunts in the first one, with Chris Hemsworth really going for it,
I think that's probably one of the best deaths I've ever seen on cinema because.
Oh my god! Like when he just goes for it, and he's still got 3 arrows.
3 arrows, and he's still going for it. And even at the end, he's still alive. And because I thought that was such a great sequence.
Oh yeah.
I've generally got goosebumps just thinking about it.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sold.
Right.
Definitely Chris Hemsworth.
Right, should we have a Gandhi? Right, who have you gone for Gandalf?
Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman.
Show. Because I was looking at him, is he old enough to play the role? And he's got one of those faces that I think he could play anything between a 30-year-old and a 75-year-old. He's just got one of those faces. And I think with a bit of makeup, he could play a great Gandalf.
So I just looked him up as Sirius Black with his long hair.
Oh, he played Sirius Black. Yeah, I think he'd make a great Gandalf. Give him a beard. He's got that that intense look in his eyes where it's wisdom, but it's also a bit scary. And there's something I like about thinking about Gandalf, that he almost frightens you a little bit, just because he's so wise and so powerful that even though he's so full of good, and he is the epitome of good, and everything, he symbolizes everything that is good in the books.
Did you ever play any of the Lord of the Rings video games?
I did.
Battle for Middle Earth.
Oh, the real-time strategy game. Yeah.
He's so ridiculously overpowered in that. I'm playing a time machine card for my Gandalf.
Go for it.
I've gone for an aged Eric Bana. And this is weirdly one that I thought about a lot, because when you look at Gandalf, nothing too bad can happen whilst Gandalf is still about.
Yeah.
But I was thinking as well of Gandalf the Grey and Gandalf the White, and Eric is something in the eyes of Eric Bana that's sort of warm, but at the same time slightly, it's slightly powerful. He's warm.
You trust him, actually. I'm just looking at this photo that you've put up, and actually that's the thing. You look at him, and it's so funny when you said that. It really rang true. You said nothing bad can happen when he's around, and you look at him, and you're like, yeah, nothing bad can happen when he's going to protect everyone.
Yeah,
look at him.
He's the sort of person that you would.
And I think that's brilliant. I think that's totally unexpected. I would never ever have guessed that, but I think the reason why you've picked him, I think, is really, really true. I think he's totally credible as this protector, this watchful protector, a guy you trust no matter what the odds. Yeah. Sold.
So Eric Banner. Eric
Sold.
Banner it is. Eric Banner is Gandalf.
Brilliant.
Right. Let's now get on to the Hobbits.
Okay. So, who have you gone for?
Right. Should we do Merry and Pippin first?
Okay. Yeah.
Should we do them at the same time? Can I, or separately?
We can do them at the same time.
Let's do them at the same time. I'm really pleased with my Pippin.
Yeah.
Right. For my Merry and Pippin, because they're West Country, aren't they? We both went to uni in Dorset, so I've gone for people that have done some acting, but they're actually more stand-up comedians.
Yeah.
I've gone for Russell Howard.
Yeah.
And Josh Widdicombe.
Oh, which was is he?
Josh Widdicombe's the guy from the Last Leg. He's the one on it that's not disabled. And
Josh Whitcomb.
Yeah, Widdicombe. You got him? And Russell Howard, obviously from Russell Howard's Good News.
Yeah.
I was watching Russell Howard's Good News the other day, and I thought, you've got that sort of cheeky, chappy little thing that Pippin
it Josh
has.
Widdicombe?
Widdicombe, yeah.
Okay, I've never heard of him. He's definitely got a halfling look.
He's
Definitely.
When I say halfling look, you can strip away the hair and anything like that. He's got a West Country face.
Yeah, he does.
And I know Russell Howard's got a slight wonky eye that he. But I thought those two together would be quite good. Russell Howard as Pippin, and you can also imagine them obviously being quite fun and.
Oh, that's funny. I saw them the other way round.
Did you?
When you said it.
And then Josh. Oh, it is the other way around. I ballsed that up because Josh Widdicombe's Merry.
Yeah.
No. Josh Widdicombe's Pippin. Pippin's the one that goes off with Gandalf in Gondor.
Correct, yeah.
And then Russell Howard stays with
Eowyn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
that's great. Have they ever worked together? Do they have any?
They've done a few sort of panel shows and stuff like that together.
Cool.
They're always quite funny. But I thought not they are just really. But I thought they've got the right look, and I think they could probably pull it off. I mean, they're great roles, and this is not without the most disrespect to the people there. But it's not like, you don't have to go full method. And those guys clearly had a lot of fun behind the scenes.
No,
and
exactly.
That's the thing I love about it. They clearly all had fun behind the scenes, and that translates on the film.
You definitely see that. Yeah, you do. And actually, very much in that vein, I've picked two actors that have a lot of fun. And I picked Pippin and Merry as a duo when I picked them, and I picked them for their chemistry. And actually, one of these actors has already been in Lord of the Rings, but his part was so small.
Is it Anton Deck?
No, it's Brett McKenzie and Jermaine Clement from Flight of the Conchords.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Flight of the Conchords guys. And actually, I think it's Brett McKenzie has already been in Lord of the Rings. He plays one of the elves who speaks to Arwen. He says, "But Lady Galadriel, we must move on."
I just typed his name, and that's the first image that comes up. Is him.
But his part is so small that I think it's negligible in this for this game. They obviously have amazing chemistry. They're a comedy duo. They're fantastic. They're both Kiwis, so we retain some of that, the heart of Lord of the Rings, some of that Peter Jackson, and I think together they've got this kind of country bumpkin look about them in their face, and I think they'd make a great duo for Merry and Pippin.
You saw them on the New Zealand thing. I mean, they're some of my favourite characters. Yeah. They're fun. Definitely. And the thing is, they're fun, but they get to be involved in some epic things.
Yeah.
Like, you've got... They're the guys that lead the Ents.
Yeah.
They're the guys that are involved in, when I say the Battle of the Pelennor Fields, both parts of it. The flipping Rohan charge, which is...
most epic thing on screen ever.
And also the Siege of Gondor.
Yeah.
So you got... they're... So,
and that's the thing, both of them, I think, they've got the comedy thing going on all the time, but they can both switch, I think, into really... They can really have sincere moments. And I think, that moment when Merry just gets dead serious. I haven't said who's who. I can see from the picture. Yeah, I would put Brett as Pippin and Jermaine as Merry.
Yeah.
Personally.
So I just think I love that bit right at the end at the Battle of the Black Gate, and Aragorn charges for Frodo charges, and the first people that go after
the Hobbit.
The Hobbits. I love
Brilliant. That. It's so good.
Not Hobbit, I love that they're like, okay, we're gonna.
Yeah, it's
I'll have to watch these movies again.
So,
all right, let's go for those guys. Let's go for the Flight of the Conchords.
Brilliant.
Bad luck, Russell and Josh.
I do like them. I like them as well.
Right, should we go for Frodo and Sam together or Frodo and Sam separately?
I've done them separately, but we can do them together.
Let's do them separately. Should we go for Sam first?
Okay.
I'm pleased with my Sam. It's one of those ones that struck me. Did you see who it was?
No.
It just struck me in because Sam is.
All right, let me prepare myself.
Right, I say get ready to have your mind blown with this. Sam is the everyman, isn't he?
Is he?
Sam is the everyman. Sam is the hero of the story.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
I like them, but I prefer the big action sequences, like a lot of people do. But I like him. For Sam, I've gone for James Corden as Samwise Gamgee, who was in the Into the Woods, which shows he can actually do some kind of.
Oh yeah,
and then he's Smithy as well, from Gavin and Stacey.
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, I mean he
and he's fat as well, or chunky. In that
he's basically Sean Austin. He's a British Sean Austin, isn't he?
I think he's funnier than Sean Austin. He's got that.
Yeah.
You know the guy I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I know. He's all over the place now. He's on American TV. He's all over the place in the States now. He's huge in the States.
It's weird how suddenly random British actors can suddenly snap and go all over the US.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. So who you got for Frodo? Oh, we're doing them separately.
We're doing them separately.
Okay. So for me, Sam is the unexpected hero of the story. He's the guy at first who you love to kind of dislike. He's kind of the annoying hobbit. He just wants to go, and he's not that committed.
Mr. Frodo.
He's scared and he's wimpy, but towards the end he has more strength than anyone, more courage, more anything. I mean, even when Frodo has given up, and points where Frodo has sent him away, and he's been betrayed everywhere he can, and he turns back and he picks up Frodo. Forget picking up the ring and finishing the deed. He picks up Frodo.
I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you.
I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you. That moment, I explode into tears.
There's one moment before that always really bugs me. Like, you know, when that tower, I can't remember what it's called.
Cirith
Yeah, that's the one, Cirith Ungol. And he's sort of running them up, and he goes, "This is for Frodo.
Yeah.
This is for the Shire."
The old gaffer.
Is that the old gaffer? I was going, well, that's kind of like, I was expecting him to say something like a bit more
dramatic.
Yeah, and it's always felt a bit, But no, you are 100% right as well.
So
he's the one that takes.
So he's the guy who turns from this pathetic character into this hero character that you want to love, and once again from Game of Thrones. A guy who you despise at first, who's pathetic, and who grows into a character who's trustworthy and heroic, is John Bradley's character. What's his name? Piggy. No, they call him Piggy? What do they call him?
His name's actually Sam as well.
Is it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it is Sam. Yeah. His character goes through the same arc in Game of Thrones. You know, the cowardly kind of
it's
pathetic.
Samwell, not Samwise.
It's a sign. It's a sign. And he goes from that to the guy who, you know, is willing to stand up for people who can't stand up for themselves, who's willing to risk his life for others, to the character you never think he can be. So in that sense, and the point is, you know, you believe John Bradley as that character, and you believe him in that arc. So I believe he would make a great Samwise Gamgee. Yeah.
As opposed to Samwell.
So as opposed to Samwell.
I know what you mean. I do know what you mean. Is he sure he's not a bit too fat?
You can send him to fatty camp like Carrie Fisher.
Yeah, are you the box just? But you got to lose a couple of.
We're gonna put you in a metal bra.
I'll tell you, you know the shot when Shelob and Sam first comes back to fight Shelob, and you have the gunslinger shot, and Sam sort of steps into frame, and you see this body and arm and sword.
Yeah.
No, it's Pete Jackson, right?
Oh really? Oh,
Yeah.
that's his cameo. Yeah, he does all these cameos, doesn't he?
The first time you actually see it, that's Pete in with
Yeah.
which I love that.
I always love trying to spot all his cameos in the movies. You go, oh, that's the director. There he is.
So right, let's talk about our Frodo first before we then go onto the
I
Sam.
agree.
I do think both of these are good Sams. I think mine's better, but you know.
Agree to disagree.
My Frodo, I didn't have to look up his name because I literally put that Russian guy from Star Trek.
Chekhov. Anton Chekhov.
His name is Anton Yelchin.
Anton Yelchin, yeah.
Who I think he hasn't got the where is he? That's a good one. Who I think again he's got a West Country face, which is what you need for a Hobbit.
Yeah.
You've got to have a bit of West or a country bumpkin face.
He looks a bit fragile, but I think
a bit fragile, a bit aristocratish as well. That's the thing about Frodo.
He's a Baggins, not some block-headed brace girl from Hard Bottle.
I like Frodo, but he's not my favourite character.
Yeah. Oh no, I don't like
he's
Frodo pisses me off.
I know. He's the
and
heart.
actually, I think we want to have, and actually keep going because this is actually the reason I picked the guy I picked for Frodo. Frodo, I think in Peter Jackson's one, it starts to get a bit unlikable or dislikable as a character. He's a bit too whiny, and it's just the way he says, "I can't do it, Sam," and you're like, okay,
come on, Frodo, belt up this bloody ring. Yeah.
No, I think that you kind of want him to have a bit more hair on his chest, and that's it. He's fragile. He's fragile when he needs to be, and he does that wonderfully. But I think you don't believe him entirely when he's being strong, and actually in the books, Frodo is so strong of everything, constitution, mental constitution especially, and you believe that he is able to do this task that nobody else is able to do, and I'm not sure if Elijah Wood was just able to do that quite enough for me personally. So I picked Kit Harington.
Kit Harington. You basically brought the Game of Thrones cast.
But I think Kit Harington would have. The obvious thing is to put him as Aragorn. But I think working with John Bradley, they already have the dynamic duo partnership. They've worked together before. But I think Kit Harington playing Frodo instead of the action hero might work for me because I'm sure he can play the whole fragile thing and a bit more of a happy-go-lucky type character at the beginning, but I think he'll mature into this much stronger Frodo.
Did you see him in Pompeii?
No, I don't watch Trite like that.
Total garbage. It could have been. I think it could have been good, but it's garbage.
No, it could never have been. With an English production trying to do blockbuster. No, never.
Anyway, no, I like that. I can see the. I can see the chemistry between them. I mean, it's a choice that you can almost see already from Game of Thrones, like the Sam and John. Cause I like.
I'll tell you what. We're stuck on our Sam and Frodo and Aragorn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Let's give Olive one more call.
If failing that, I'll make a bargain. One for one. So Frodo and Sam for Aragorn.
I'll take that.
You can have whichever one you want.
Let's call our decision maker again.
All right, Olivia, save the day.
Okay. Haven't spoken to her for about a year or so, but is she going to answer? Probably not. Probably an old number.
Oh shit! She hung up. Oh. She rejected the call. Okay.
Well, all right. Okay. So you get Frodo and Sam. I get Aragorn.
Okay. Brilliant.
Okay. Right.
So summarise.
So playing Aragorn, we have that guy from The Mummy, Oded Fehr. Playing Legolas, we have got
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Playing Gimli, we have got
Christopher.
The nutty guy
Let me
from.
Say that again. I've mashed that up so badly.
The nutty guy from Game of Thrones who climbs that ice wall, covered in bones.
Christopher Hivju.
For Boromir, we have got a Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth.
Gandalf.
We've got a time machined Eric Bana.
I love it. I love that. Actually, I really love that.
For Merry and Pippin, we've got
Brett and Jermaine from Flight of the Conchords.
And Frodo and Sam, we have got
Kit Harington and John Bradley.
I like that. I think
that's pretty solid.
I think that's a solid casting.
And you know what? I think why I think it's a good bunch is I think we've fundamentally kept the heart of all those characters true, but we've pushed them just a little bit in a slightly different direction. So, for example, Aragorn, I think you've given him more of the adventurer, the traveller, rugged thing going on. A bit more of also an exotic look. And that, it shows that Aragorn's coming from far away. He's got different ancestry to everyone else. I really like that.
We've got a lot of Australians and a lot of Kiwis, a lot of the Southern Hemisphere.
Yeah, we do. I think Merry and Pippin, we've gone a bit more comedy. Boromir, we're giving him a bit more strength, a bit more elegance, slightly more regal. I'm really liking that. The Gandalf, I can't fault. Oh my God, what's his name?
Eric Bana?
No, the original Gandalf. Ian McKellen's Gandalf at all, but I have to say an aged Eric Bana's stroke of genius. I think Gimli, Christopher Hivju just playing this wild lunatic, giving Gimli like a bit more due credit this time round, and then Joseph Gordon-Levitt seeing what he can do with a Legolas. I think it's a really interesting bunch. Sweet.
I like it. I'm pleased with that. But and this is the thing. So all these guys are flying out to New Zealand, and then this other guy rocks up as well.
And then they just fire all of them
because they're discovered
just useless. There's only one actor who can play,
and he's already out there, and he seems to be like, well.
They arrive on set basically, and he's just there in the motion capture suit, and Peter Jackson is like, "Sorry guys, we've already we've recast the film. Sorry, contracts are void.
Everyone is going to be played by."
Andy Serkis in a motion capture suit.
Which is the right answer for who would recast.
Every single character. Yep.
Right. You know he's got a big film coming out next year?
Which one?
Jungle Book.
Oh yeah, where he plays again.
he plays a bear.
Yeah.
And actually, I tell you what I saw over Christmas. I saw Animals United. It's one of those weird German animated things. And Andy Serkis...
What's a German animated thing?
It was like very sort of Euro animation. CGI. And... Andy Serkis is in that, and he's playing another animal. He's playing a rooster this time.
Oh, what is this? Is this Madagascar?
No, it's the German equivalent of Madagascar.
This is okay. Type Animals United, and the picture you get is, I think it's basically exactly the same, even down to the font, as Madagascar. Oh my God. Okay.
But Andy Serkis was in that. Yeah. So I think we'll keep pushing this, and we'll.
Yeah, of course he's Snoke. In episode 8, Star Wars. Exciting times.
Yeah, but anyway, cool. A couple of little shout outs. We've got to give a shout out to our friends at Podcast. We're Podcast Recast. Gotta give a shout out.
Thanks, Ali. Want to shout out right back at you?
Give a shout out to Nahayan and Tom from Phones on Silent, who gave us a little shout out as well. If you get a moment, check out their podcast, Phones on Silent. It's a good giggle. My personal favourite is they do IMDb bottom 100 and they watch a garbage movie, which some of them are really funny. Some of them are clearly like this. They did a chat about Thanodorus Rex and Santa Claus versus or Conquers the Martians. It's all these random little films, but yeah, they're a good bunch of guys. But yeah, cool. Right, so that's the cast of Lord of the Rings.
Part 1.
Wait a minute, we haven't cast Gollum or Faramir.
Oh yeah.
Or Theoden.
Eowyn.
Or Theodred.
Saruman.
Remember Theodred?
The guy who dies.
Yeah. Or Galadriel.
Arwen, Elrond.
And the Hobbit films as well. There's all those Hobbits as well.
Yeah. Just have to wait for the next episode of Podcast Recast.